We're thrilled you have joined the Treatment and Recovery Resource Meeting. This meeting is a product of the Treatment and Recovery Committee for the Governor's Alabama Opioid Overdose and Addiction Council. These virtual calls are designed to provide valuable insights, resources, and support for professionals involved in helping someone gain access to treatment and recovery resources. Each meeting will feature three dynamic speakers representing different organizations who will share the resources they have available to support our important work in the field of treatment and recovery. These meetings will occur on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 12 p.m. So please continue to join us as they occur throughout the year and feature new agencies with each meeting. The Zoom link will remain the same for every meeting this calendar year. Each agency will have 15 minutes to share about services and referrals, followed by 5 minutes for any questions our attendees may have. We ask all participants to remain muted during the presentations. When we open for questions and answers, you can unmute to ask your question, or you may type it in the chat and we will ask it for you. Without further delay, I'm excited to introduce the three agencies for today are Jimmy Hale, New Vision, and Starting Point Outreach. At this time, I will turn it over to Jimmy Hale Mission.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Perry Carroll. I'm the Executive Director of the Jimmy Hale Mission. I apologize for not having my screen on today. We are in a remote location at a leadership retreat, and I'm concerned that that could make the voice quality worse. But this year, Jimmy Hale celebrates its 80th year of service to the homeless and hurting in the Birmingham area. Our family's been involved with Jimmy Hale Mission almost 30 years. And in that 80-year period, we have seen that the main population that we serve has a consistent challenge with addiction. So for a very long time, really even dating back to our founder, Jimmy Hale, who was an actual person himself, Jimmy was the town drunk for Birmingham, and he gained control over his addiction and set out to create the mission as a way to helping others with similar challenges. So really that's our part of our roots, so to speak. We currently have 3 campuses. Our Shapora Men's Center is our, what we would probably refer to as our main campus in downtown Birmingham. We have recently renovated our dormitory on the men's campus to provide individual rooms to house 98 men. And I kind of make a point of that because through our research and experience, we've learned that providing an individual living space to those that are seeking our services is making a tremendous difference in having time for reflection, having regaining dignity, and overall having a higher success rate for our program. We also have a rural campus for men, our Royal Pines facility in the Hayden community in Blount County. That's a 75-acre campus where we can provide services for 45 men. And third, we have our Jesse's Place, which is our women and children's shelter, also in downtown Birmingham, where we have room for up to 30 women and children. The capacity at Jesse's Place is a bit more fluid than it is at our men's center, because we have family rooms at Jesse's Place. We do not house more than one family per room. So if a lady comes in with 3 children, they'll have their own, living space room. If she comes in with 1 child, she would have her own living space room. So we can house up to 30 women, depending upon how that puzzle of those in need is presented. Altogether, we feed, clothe, house, and provide what we call back to life services for between 150 and 180 men, women, and children per day. And we call this our back to life services because many that we serve have, let's say, advanced degrees in the School of Hard Knocks. Most of those to include addiction. Our goal is to address not only the addiction challenges that our clients present with, but also to go deeper than that and seek to heal the underlying causes of the addiction, which many times, as I know our partner organizations here on this call know, many times there are circumstances that lie beneath the surface that are causing the symptoms that we are seeing in folks' lives. How do we do this? So when our neighbors come to Jimmy Hale, they begin in a 15-week program, which is titled Reclaiming Hope. There's some intention in those words. To reclaim means to retrieve or recover something previously lost or given, or to obtain the return of. Hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for certain things to happen. So our clients enter Reclaiming Hope program that focuses on 5 personal areas of health that are essential to a stable life. The first of those is physical. Everyone who comes to Jimmy Hale Mission begins their journey with us with a physician and dental visit. We see many treatable conditions that materially affect health when they go untreated, such as hypertension, diabetes. Those are 2 common ones that we want to address on the front side. Then physical health goes on to address ongoing proper nutrition and regular exercise. The second pillar is mental health. Everyone who comes to Jimmy Hale also receives a mental health screening and treatment and counseling with a certified counselor as may be applicable. The third area of personal health that our program is based on is relational. Many of those that come to us have relationship problems, whether they were born into a toxic family, perhaps other toxic relationships. We provide courses on anger management and parenting that are approved by the court system, as well as programs for workplace relations. The fourth area is vocational health. We are extremely blessed to have learning centers on all of our campuses. Jeff State Community College staffs our learning centers at our downtown Men's Center and Jesse's Place, and Wallace State staffs our learning center at Royal Pines. Through these learning centers, we offer everything from basic literacy to GED classes, basic computer skills, and short-term work certificates in over 35 fields, such as heavy equipment operator, paralegal, dental assistant, CDL truck driver, you name it. It's a very wide variety. We also are able to offer clients their start in college education through our learning centers. The fourth area of our program deals with spiritual health. I like to make it very, very clear that we believe at Jimmy Hale Mission that your faith is a very personal thing to you. So we strive intentionally not to be an indoctrination factory. While we do offer over 13 faith-based opportunities per week on our campuses, These range from Celebrate Recovery to Bible studies to book studies to worship services. Clients at Jimmy Hale select those opportunities that speak to them and are meaningful to them. And that's very important to us. Based on these 5 areas of health, each client will work to lay a solid foundation for their own individual life plan. After graduating from this 15-week Reclaiming Hope program, we encourage clients to stay at Jimmy Hale Mission and enter our Phase 2 or Continuum of Care program. In our Continuum of Care, COC, clients would continue to live at their respective campus at Jimmy Hale Mission while they either go back to work or go to school off campus and perhaps work part-time. Jimmy Hale has relationships with over 125 employers so that clients can seek the vocational opportunities that they are interested in and have an acumen for. While in COC, in addition to taking that first step back out into the community, clients continue to be provided weekly group and biweekly individual counseling. And they also were then provided with ongoing addiction counseling services, financial accountability classes, and further living skills so that they can build up both their finances and habits necessary to work independently and to live in stability. This program does not have a hard and fast timeline. The typical stay in a COC after the Reclaiming Hope program is between 4 and 6 months. By this time, clients are typically feel like they are ready to take the next step and move off campus. I don't think anybody on this call is not aware that we have issues with affordable housing these days. So to address that, Jimmy Hale has launched in the last couple of years 2 off-campus affordable housing programs. Our first program is here in the Birmingham area, and it's in partnership with Alethea House, where Alethea House owns an apartment complex that we are able to place our clients that are graduates into off-campus housing that we act as more or less a sponsor or kind of a guarantor because of credit issues and things like that. They can't go into the traditional housing market. Our second housing opportunity off campus is relatively new to us. We've only had it for a few months, and that is a recovery house that we have just purchased and are in the process of getting certified in the Huntsville-Coleman area. There are very good employment opportunities and educational opportunities in that area. So we have purchased housing there as an option for our clients. I could tell you a couple of things about our success stories. We have an individual right now that I say not in a bragging kind of way, but just to give some encouragement for each of you and for each of the clients in your programs. We have 2 young men that graduated from our Royal Pines program within the last 2 years. Both attended Wallace State Community College while at Royal Pines and got their associate's degrees. Since then, one young man has enrolled at UAH in Huntsville, where he is studying aerospace physics. When he talks to me about what he's studying, I really have no idea what he's talking about because he is so intelligent and so passionate about this area. A second success story that I'd give you for encouragement is another young man that also did the same thing at Royal Pines in Wallace State, and now he's at the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, studying mechanical engineering. So these two individuals both came to Jimmy Hale as heroin addicts. They were both young men with tons of potential, but just like so many of us, had taken a wrong turn and just needed a hand up to get back on track and return to being contributing members of our community. So thank you for the opportunity to give you a nutshell version about Jimmy Hill Mission. If you'd like further information, anyone's welcome to call me, or please visit our website. It's Jimmy Hill Mission, JIMMIEHALE mission.com. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for sharing. At this time, does anyone have a question for Jimmy Hill Mission? Again, you're able to ask or put that in the chat. All right. Since we don't have any questions, we will move forward to New Vision.
Sorry about that. It took me a minute to get settled today. I had some unexpected stuff happening. Hi, I'm Miranda. I'm with New Vision Withdrawal Management. We are located in Winfield, Alabama, inside the hospital, Northwest Regional. What we do is we treat withdrawal symptoms. So our stay is usually between 3 to 5 days. We treat all the different substances though. So we have opiates, including heroin, fentanyl, benzos, including Xanaxes, stimulants, with methamphetamine and crack cocaine, as well as the Adderall, the prescription stimulants. So people can come in, whether it's just on meth, and we have a protocol to help them come off of it safely and also a little bit more comfortably. I think that sometimes, a lot of times when people are coming off of these substances, they're very uncomfortable, and that leads them back to go into use. So they don't feel that pain. But while they are here, they are housed on a regular med-surg floor, meaning that they will be a patient of the hospital. They will not be treated any differently. The same hospitalists and nurses treat our patients as they do everybody else. They have their own room, their own restroom, TV. They can bring their cell phone. They can bring a tablet. A lot of times what we do is we like to give them online support groups, because we are strictly medical. So we do not offer any of the behavioral or therapies or anything like that. Even though I'm a peer support specialist, I also, and I sneak in my services, but I enjoy talking to them and stuff. We only bill medically. So as soon as we start talking to them, one of the first things I ask is, what do you want to do next? I know that detox is a great first step, but it is really just a first step. And we want to see them go into some kind of aftercare. So right now with our site, we have about an 85% follow-up rate, meaning when we help them set up an appointment. So we give them options of different places that take their insurances, and then we give them information about it, and then they help us choose which one they would like, and then we make that appointment. We set them up date, time, and stuff like that. And so we have about 85% where they actually follow up with that appointment. And I think that's because we work with the patients to make the appointment and not just make the appointment ourselves. We have I'm the administrator over the site. So we also have an intake coordinator, Miss Lauren Borham. She usually does rounding about 2 times a day, depending on how busy we are. She may see them more, but at least 2 times. And during that time, she's talking about what they want to do next. Like I just said, make sure that they know their options and start making them phone calls. And within 48 hours of them being here, we like to have that appointment set up for them. While they're here, there is a medication protocol that our hospitalists and nursing staff are scheduled dosing so that the patients their withdrawals don't get out of control. We don't like for them to be passed out or anything like that. We just want them comfortable while they're here. The organization within itself, New Vision, they have been serving patients since 1992, so they're not a new service. We have 3 sites in Alabama, Northwest. Here in Winfield, we usually treat the northern half of the state. We get some people from Birmingham, and we've even had them come from Mobile before. But we also have a site in Sylacauga and then a site in Ozark, Alabama. We all follow the same plans. It don't matter if you come to a site in Alabama or you go to a site in Colorado. We all have the same protocol that we go by and the same policies and everything like that. So we're not just in Alabama. We are located throughout the United States. Let's see. We do not have to have an assessment for an admission. So if what we do a lot with our local places, mental health centers, if they run into somebody who's calling for an assessment and they automatically know that this person is going to need detox, they go ahead and do a referral to us so that they can get that part done before the assessment is ever scheduled to take place. So they do not have to have an assessment. Sometimes we have patients who come in that are on Medicaid, and it's not easy to place patients in residential care on Medicaid. So we usually treat those as if they have no insurance, and we go ahead and get that assessment done for them, and also go ahead and start working on that aftercare. We've had people have their assessment done over the phone while they've been in the hospital. So on a personal note, like this is, I tell everybody who comes into my office, I tell the doctors, the nurses inside this hospital, they all know that people who come into this service in this hospital, they're my people. Because I know that I was that person one time and I got sober in this area and I did not have services. If you know anything about Northwest Alabama, not Florence or Muscle Shoals, but the little small areas, Marion, Fayette, Winston, on down Pickens and stuff like that, we do not have enough resources over here. So since about 2012, I have screamed and begged for people to come over to our area because we need it. People are dying. My people are dying. So I take this position very serious, and everyone who comes through this site, like, they are my people. I make sure that they're taken care of. I make sure that they're comfortable, and I try to link them to resources that I know that's going to assist them on into their recovery. So that's just on a personal note, not speaking for New Vision itself, just for you guys to know that this is my home. So so as far as like referrals and admissions, we love referrals. But we do need to talk to the patients before we schedule them to come in. And the reason why is, one, we want to make sure that they're willing to come. It is not court ordered. They're not going to be in a lockdown unit. You have to be willing to come. Now, if they are court ordered, that's fine, but still and yet they have to be willing to come. We also go ahead and get their insurance verified to make sure that they don't have any kind of out-of-pocket or anything like that that's going to be expected of them when they get here, because we don't want any kind of barrier once we get that appointment scheduled. If by some chance that they do not have insurance, which we know that a lot of people that we work with do not, we always do linkage to somewhere where they can get that state assessment and take advantage of that grant money so that they can get the help that they need. But once we talk to them, verify the insurance, we go ahead and schedule the assessment. And when I say assessment, we do a withdrawal assessment. So when they come in, they have to be showing some very acute signs of withdrawal. And sometimes that scares people, but we're not wanting them to come in just sick and in a dangerous level. We just need to see that they are having some of those symptoms of withdrawal, because we are a medical detox. And to be able to accept them as a patient inside the hospital, there has to be a medical need. And that medical need is, hey, this person drinks a gallon of whiskey a day and they've had 2 shots. And we all know that alcohol is a very dangerous substance coming off of. So we do have to have that. But normally we can schedule them either same day or the next day. I beat it in all the time is we want to get them as soon as we can, because if they're calling, they won't help right then. So we try to get them in within those 24 hours. The patient comes in, we do the assessment, we present the patient to the hospitalist where they accept the patient as their patient, and we get them in the room and start giving them medication to help them feel more comfortable. Now, as far as criteria goes, we treat 18 years and older. So they have to be an adult, 18 years of older. We do not accept pregnant women. We do accept most major insurances, including Medicaid and Medicare. Another thing is they cannot be suicidal or homicidal, because we do house them on a regular med-surg floor. They do not have one-on-one care. So they cannot have that suicidal or homicidal ideations. We can take dual diagnosis, and we see a lot of people who come in who are dual diagnosis. We prefer that they're on their medications, but 9 times out of 10, they're usually not. They usually haven't had their medicine in quite some time. And if they haven't had their medicine in 3 or 4 months, then that's okay, because they've lived life without it. Now, if they just quit taking their medicine 7 or 6 days, we may be a little bit more hesitant, and like we would do an ER screening just to make sure that they're stable enough to be housed on a med-surg floor. Let's see. We want to make sure that I was talking about the acute withdrawals. Another thing is we don't want them to come in too early, because if we start giving them medication for withdrawals and they're not in those withdrawals, it could throw them into precipitated withdrawals. Our goal is to keep people comfortable, to start them off on a good foot. So we don't want that to happen. We do see it every now and then. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes. But we also want to make sure that we are treating them in the crucial time of their withdrawal. So we want to make sure that they're not coming in too early, so they're going to be here at least the 5 days so that we can hit those crucial moments. As far as a way to contact, I'll put that into the chat. But you would just call our office here in Winfield. Lauren would do the phone assessment. If the person is not with you, if you have a release and stuff, you're more than welcome to leave their name and phone number with her, and she can contact them that way. And then we go ahead and start that process. We are here Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. And like I said, I'll leave the contact information in the chat. And with that, I'll also have my cell phone. So if anybody wants to shoot me a text message or an email or something like that for questions, you're more than welcome to do that. And I think that's about it.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, most definitely. Does anyone have a question for New Vision? You're welcome to put that in the chat or to unmute and ask. Again, thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate it. All right, so at this time, we will move forward to starting point outreach.
Hey guys, I'm Brandy Gibbs. I'm the manager of operations with Starting Point Outreach. We're a 12-month recovery residence. We assist women who are recovering from substance use disorder. We provide a safe and affordable, structured, sober living environment. And we are a peer support atmosphere with certified peer support staff that help guide the residents and each other as well as themselves in their journey toward long-term sobriety. We're firm believers in people who have suffered from substance use disorder can reach people who are currently suffering. So our entire staff has walked what the women who are going to be coming through our program have walked so that we can understand the challenges that they face. We all know that it's not really easy to get sober, and it's very terrifying. Most women have endured some trauma. So we try to sit them down individually and figure out what outside clinical resources that we can use to get them on the path to healing as fast as possible. We've been in business for 12 years. We serve the entire state of Alabama, and we do offer transportation to and from our facility whenever it's required of us. We also do 12-step meetings, and we're guided in learning life skills to help ensure the ladies in long-term sobriety. Our residents enter the program, and we have 2 phases. We have the resident property where they come in and they're introduced to 12-step meetings. We get them a job. They learn life skills to help prepare them. Once they move up to our second phase, it's a little bit smaller living situations with more responsibilities, where they're eligible to get things like phones and cars and things of that nature to help acclimate them back into society, but still be supervised. Sometimes that seems to be one of the most crucial things when it comes to women, is we don't need to be too secluded from life. So we've just found that success comes from allowing them to live life on life's terms, but still be held accountable. We also have a graduate property that's up to 2 years stay for the ladies, where their rent is adjusted some so that they can save to make sure that they make that transition back into life very safely. They're not really required to do as much as the ladies who are in the program. There's just a small set of standards that we ask them to meet, and they're still randomly drug screened. It gives them a little bit more freedom to see what they're going to do with their free time. And we've just found that the longer they stay sober. So at least 3 years seems to be our best success stories. You can go and fill out an application for our program on our website at spo@startingpoint.org. And then once the application has been submitted, we will call you with an interview to see if you match our criteria of women that we serve. We are not dual diagnosis. We do not deal with mental health issues. Although those 2 things kind of coincide, we do allow things like antidepressants and some mood stabilizers, depending on what it is, but we have a safe med list that we allow the ladies to take. Anything other than that is just not in our scope to deal with. We really are just like a recovery community where these women can come to learn and love themselves and see what it's like to be sober and get the help that they need to heal on their journey. We do not allow sex offenders, arsons, or violent crime offenders just due to the criteria women that we serve. I think it's important to say that, especially when you're dealing with women. They need to feel as safe as possible because most of them have endured trauma and been put in positions where they didn't feel safe. So we do the best that we can to work with them on an individual basis and see what their niche is, where they seem to fit in, what seems to be their passion. We are a spiritual-based program, not religious. We encourage them to find their own spirituality so that they can make a connection with something bigger than them to hopefully start seeking instead of the things that they have been seeking. We also offer grief counseling for the ladies who have experienced things like that, parenting classes. Once they hit 6 months, we get them to GED classes if they don't have those things. If they want to start going back to college, we encourage those things. But we're really just a tight-knit group of women. We try to show them what life is like being sober, and living without having to use substances. We go kayaking, we go to the movies, we go to events. We are really involved with the 12-step community. We're located in the Anniston area, but we work very closely with all the counties in the state of Alabama. So I don't know if I have much more to say than that. Kind of short and sweet, but I can answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you for sharing. Does anyone have a question for Starting Point Outreach?
And can you repeat the email? I mean, the website?
It's SPO, like it's Starting Point Outreach, but just the initials, SPO at startingpointoutreach.org.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay, I'll also put that in the chat. And I also see that New Vision has their contact information in the chat. Jimmy Hale, if you would like to add your email address or share it at this time, you can do so. Again, thank you to our presenters for joining us today and sharing about their resource. Thank you to the participants. We hope you were able to learn something new about a resource available to you in Alabama for treatment and recovery. Again, this meeting will occur on August the 21st. So please join us then for our next virtual meeting, and I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon. Thanks.